Most men think that if their wife is pulling away, they have to start trying harder to get that spark back and get her closer. So they put in more effort, initiate more conversations, and push her to work on things. But the truth is, the harder you try to pull her back, the more pressure she feels from you. And pressure is what's creating the distance. So in today's video, I'm going to break down what that pressure actually is and why until you shift it, she will not move closer no matter how much you try. One of the big misnomers men make when hearing the word pressure is to think that pressure is loud and demanding. It's easy to get your back up and say, like, no way, I'm not pressuring her, I'm not yelling, I'm not demanding anything. But the thing is, though, pressure is not only when you're out there trying to dominate her and ask her for ultimatums on deciding if she's going to try with you or not. Pressure is more the emotional atmosphere that forms when every interaction you guys have together feels like it has stakes attached to it. It's when she can feel that the relationship is constantly being evaluated on your end because you don't want to lose it. And it's when she senses that her responses matter more to you than they used to, not because she's important, but because it's tied to how stable you are going to be based on how she reacts. So the bottom line is that pressure is emotional urgency that is filling the room with scared energy from you, wondering, is this going to get better yet? It boils down to the fear behind what you are saying, not just about the words. This is what starts to create that feeling for her where she wants to back off because it just becomes way too much for her emotionally. There is a very thin line between caring and control. And if you were to go and open up a cookbook to make pressure for dinner, the main two ingredients you're going to see are going to be fear mixed with caring about her. It's obvious that you love her if you're doing everything you can so you don't lose the marriage. But the problem with our instincts as men, and this is natural because I know from a ton of my own experience, we see our relationship starting to be unstable and we want to fix it immediately and stabilize it. But that effort can turn into starting to try and control things very quickly without us realizing it. Let me show you a couple of ways how this happens. First, we have the temperature check habit. You start tracking everything that's going on with her. You're trying to figure out like a peeping detective if she's being warmer today, or did she laugh a little bit more, or did she initiate anything with you? And you tell yourself you're just being observant, but internally you are scanning for signs of improvement. Part of this temperature check that is also a huge issue is that your mood starts depending on what you think you're getting out of her. You have this emotional dependency yourself on if you think she's being warmer to you or not. She's going to pick up on that, and it's going to start to feel like she's being measured or evaluated instead of being loved. And no one's going to relax when they feel evaluated. Another way you start to control is the quiet contract. You may have told yourself, look, I'm going to make a better effort in trying to be more patient, a little less reactful, more thoughtful even. But if you're really honest with yourself, all you really care about is for her to notice and give you that validation, right? You want that shift from her, that appreciation and acknowledgement. It's like there's an unspoken client agreement that's floating around the air and you're just dying for her to grab it and sign it and basically sign off on all the work you've been doing to be better. Maybe you don't tell her that, but just like the temperature check, she feels that too. You can't have transactional thinking with a scoreboard attached if you want to reconnect with your wife. Finally, we have the let's fix this loop. I have talked about this loop many times before, and I will continue to talk about this loop many times again, mainly because I've lived it unsuccessfully so many times in my life. But basically, you just keep initiating conversations. Can we talk? Where are we at? How can we fix this? You're trying to solve it, but it's like a bad piece of computer code that is broken and just ends in an error. You keep having these repair meetings with her and nothing seems to be working. So you try to get her to talk it out again, but you keep getting the error message. So you get stuck in this loop, keep running that bad code that doesn't work, and then you start to get more and more frustrated and wonder why you keep getting the same error message. She gets frustrated because of the pressure being put on her, so she pulls back even further. If any of these ways hit home with you and you've done them before, let me know in the comments and give the like button a tap. Something that really surprises a lot of men I've worked with is that most women don't wake up and just decide to emotionally withdraw. This is something that happens pretty gradually over time, and it is making a bunch of waves in her nervous system long before sentences come out of her mouth to start mentioning the way she is feeling. So all of this pressure you start to put on her really makes her feel that your entire existence and mood depends on her and the progress of your relationship getting better. It feels like every interaction carries this huge consequence, and that just makes her body create more and more distance. So you might be thinking, okay, if all of these things are not going to help me, how can I actually get her attracted back to me? Well, here's what connects this to attraction. Attraction needs space and emotional steadiness. It needs the feeling that you are solid regardless of her fluctuation. Doing all those things I just talked about that add pressure communicates the opposite to her. You have to bring polarity to bring that connection and attraction back from her. And that's only possible when she feels that your emotional center is stable and you're not going to collapse if she isn't giving you the signals that you want right away. I'm not trying to demonize you here. Again, this is something I'm very familiar with because I spent just over a decade unknowingly putting the nail in the coffin of many of my relationships that were teetering on the brink of collapse. So I know these actions, you're taking them because you care, but also because you're scared and you don't want to lose your relationship and have your family disrupted. Obviously, that fear makes a lot of sense, but fear-driven effort is much different than grounded leadership. Fear tries to secure the outcome and leadership stabilizes the environment. That is a huge difference. So what actually reduces pressure? The only way you can truly reduce pressure and build that reconnection and traction from her again is if you learn how to be the masculine leader that is really missing in your relationship. Not trying less or pretending you don't care, but by regulating yourself before you can relate to her. If you feel urgency in your chest, you're not in a state to lead. If you feel anxiety about where things stand, don't push for clarity from her. You have to calm yourself first. Second, you got to get rid of this invisible timeline you've set in your head. And third, you have to replace monitoring her mood with direction for yourself. Instead of watching her constantly, lead yourself, lead your habits, lead your physical health, lead your work, lead your parenting, lead all of your decisions. The less you need reassurance from her, the more reassuring you become to her. It's a huge paradox, and that's what's going to start to change the emotional climate. I promise you, as counterintuitive as it sounds, it works. If this resonates with you and you haven't watched my other video on why your wife doesn't feel safe with you, even if you're trying, that is the next one you need to see, and it's going to pop up over my shoulder right above me. Also, if you want to go deeper in how to lead your marriage back to a thriving state without creating pressure, and you want to rebuild safety and attraction the right way, I break this all down in my free Relationship Rebuild Masterclass. You can watch it. The link is below in the description and the pinned comment, and it is completely free. If this video helped you out, give the like button a tap and subscribe to the channel today. I'll see you in the next video.